Everyone, I'm going to call to order the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement hearing. It is 9:02 by Verizon's time, so we can get started. So if you're here for a code enforcement matter, the first thing I'm going to do is swear everybody in who's here to testify on any items on today's agenda. So if you're here for a code enforcement matter, including city staff, if you could stand if you're able and raise your right hands for me. Everybody put their right hands up in the air. Do you all swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Perfect. You all passed the test. You raised the right hand. So with that, a little bit about process. It looks like on the agenda, all of these are violation hearings for this portion of the agenda. So when you hear your case called, you're going to come to the podium that's on my right here. The city code enforcement staff will come to the podium that's on my left. The city will go first. They will present any evidence that they have, call any witnesses they have. The documents that they will be showing will be on the screens on both sides of me. Once the city is finished, you'll get an opportunity to say to me whatever you'd like to say, cross-examine any witnesses that the city has called, show me any documents that you brought with you today. And at the end of after hearing both sides' testimony, I'll make a ruling and you'll get an order that reflects that ruling in the mail. So with that, keep in mind all of your testimony today is given under oath. So I will turn it to the city to call its first case.
First case number 1-420 35th Street, CEBLD 25010700. Number 1-420 35th Street. You can come to this podium.
Hey. Good morning. My name is Raymond Stevenson. I work for the city of the West Palm Beach. I'm a building inspector and code enforcement. The court case number is CEBLD 25010700. The address where the violation occurred, 420 35th Street. The violation I observed is a new fence installed and an irrigation installed. I issued a violation and posted a stop work order on the 1st, the 23rd, 25th. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on the 6th of the 9th, 25th, and was posted at the...
Let's see how bad it gets. I think it's not bad now. Do you want to start, ma'am? Let's go ahead. Okay.
You want me to start?
Yes, ma'am.
We are starting the ECR board meeting for July 2nd, 2025.
Are we recording? Peggy, you recording?
Yeah, it is recording. I think they already started. It's recording.
Recording stopped.
Okay, so we were.
Recording in progress.
Okay, awesome. All right.
This is the ECR board July 2nd, 2025 board meeting. Roll call, Chairperson Bayet.
Here.
Vice Chairperson Graziani.
Here.
Member Baker. Alternate Perry. Member Parham. Alternate Coleman. Member Armstrong.
Here. Okay, thank you, ma'am. I appreciate it. Morning.
$50 a day.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
All right, thank you.
And are you finished? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance?
I believe so.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence, barring any objection.
Thank you both. Your name, sir, for the record?
Ernie Petro.
Okay. The documents that you see on the screen on both sides of me, do you have any objection to those documents being entered into the record?
I have this one, the permit. I went to the place to get this. It got signed off finally because I went to the office. The people there at the permanent place had everything unblocked. When I went back again, they didn't know why the other person had it unblocked. I went there 3 times to get it done. The gentleman said everything was done, nothing was done. So I got this done by myself. It's the one of the permits. But my fence thing is I got pictures. On my street, I got all my neighbors fences are higher than mine. I got pictures for everything. My fence is lower than all of them. I had a pre-existing fence there. I had all this stuff there, and this Raymond guy comes there telling me I can't do this and that, and sending me stuff. And
So what's the status of the permit for the fences?
bring it to you?
Well, show it to Mr. Stevenson first, and he'll show it to the attorney.
Fuck you, man.
So what pictures are you looking at? This is for the plumbing? Yes, I said you complied the plumbing.
Yeah. Well, what about the fence thing?
Where the fence, where's your permit for the fence?
I don't know why they didn't give me a permit for the fence.
Because you need corrections.
Can we go back to the microphones to be on record?
Yes, sir, come back to the microphone. That's for the irrigation system? Is that what you have there?
Yeah,
Go back to the podium, sir. So Mr. Stevenson testified that you've complied with that section. The issue is the fence permit. So where are you with getting a fence permit? Have you applied for a fence permit?
Yes, we've done both.
Okay, when did you apply for the fence permit?
I didn't do it, the contractor did that. But
Okay.
I know, everything's done, but I got pictures of my neighbors, all my neighbors' fence beside me, which everything is higher.
So what your neighbors have is not relevant to your code enforcement case. I'm concerned about your fences
Okay.
and whether you have a permit for those fences. So
We did apply for permits at my friend said they did it through a porthole or something, but I don't know he's not here, he didn't answer.
Mr. Stevenson, your testimony was that there's no permit application in. Is that correct or is that incorrect?
No, I'm sorry, yeah, my mistake. They did apply for it, but I believe there needs corrections, so
Okay, so
obviously
he's
they
in the
cannot,
process, but
they
he's
have
going-
not complied.
Okay. So what he's saying is that you've applied, which is what you're saying, but there are comments that you need to address.
They want me to lower my front fence a foot,
Okay.
but I didn't know.
Can
Everything, my fence is lower than everybody else's in the neighborhood. That's why I got pictures of all my neighbors beside me.
So-
I had a fence there pre-existing before it went down.
So it sounds like
I put
there's
a
an
new
issue-
fence up,
Right.
a foot higher, but I didn't know, and that's it. Everything's lower than the whole neighborhood. I figured if it's lower than the neighborhood, it'd be all right. Because I had a fence there before. I got it on Google Map. I have a white picket fence before my father passed. The tree went down, broke it, and I replaced it.
Okay.
All the irrigation stuff there too was pre-existing, and I had everything sprinkler
Yeah, the
heads.
irrigation
everything.
is
I know, but I'm
compliant, so
just saying
that's-
everything
yep,
was
that's
there
done.
pre-existing before I took over the house.
Okay.
I replaced the broken fence, lower than the other fences that are in the neighborhood. So if there's a problem, I'll take care of it. Just let me know.
You need to communicate with the city. Do you have something else you'd want me to hear, Mr. Stevenson?
Yeah, those two neighbors,
Four neighbors.
their fence was higher. They did pull permits, they cut the fence down, they did comply.
Okay. So what you need to do, sir, is if you have comments that need to be addressed through the permit system, you need to communicate with the city and you need to address the comments because the permit will not get issued until you come
I
to
know,
agreement with the city. So the city's asking me to give you 60 days. That seems like more than enough time to
Yeah,
get through
that's
that
plenty.
process. Okay, you agree with that? 60 days is enough time?
I'll have my
Okay.
secretary get it, no problem.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to hear, sir?
No, I just nothing.
All right. Do you have any objection to the documents that you've seen on the screen?
Yeah, what about it?
Do you have any objection to those documents being entered into the record?
Get the front fence where you see my neighbors and you can see everything's lower than but my neighbors.
That's something you're going to have to deal with the city staff on in reviewing the permit.
You have a shot showing both fences, mine connected to the neighbors?
I'm not there, I'm not
You
here
don't
for-
have that shot, right?
I'm not
You got
here
all
for
the ones,
that.
the other ones, you don't
I'm
have
here-
the shot showing all the fences higher right next to my house, right? Why do you do it like that?
Did you,
Take both pictures before you can show the existing
I-
fence
can I ask a
and my
question?
fence.
Sir, let him answer the question.
Okay?
did you hear me before? I said that both of your neighbors got permits, they cut their fence down, they have complied.
I'm talking the ones in the front, they're cement. How they gonna take them down? They're all higher than mine. And the
All
chain
right,
link fence is
sir,
6 foot high.
sir,
Yeah.
we're not here about your neighbor's fences. I'm concerned only with your
Okay.
fence. So what I'm telling you is you need to get with the city because
I
your
will.
permit will not get issued unless you address
Yeah, no
whatever the height
problem, I'll
issue
do
is.
it.
Okay. All right. Anything further from the city?
No.
All right, in case CEBLD 25010700, I'm going to enter the the city's evidentiary case files, composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'm going to find based on the affidavit of posting and the USPS delivery confirmation that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'm going to find, based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer and the photographs in the case file, that the respondent's in violation of section 105.1 and 110.3 for the fences installed without the required permits and inspections. I'm going to allow or require respondent to comply with those sections within 60 days, or a $50 a day fine will be assessed for each day that the violation continues thereafter. So make sure, sir, that you get the permit issued within those 60 days, okay?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
There's no fee or nothing right now, right?
Nope, the fines don't start running until day 61, so make
Okay.
sure you get the permit within those 60 days.
I will.
Thank you, sir.
Am I done?
Yes, sir, you're done.
Thanks.
Number 4, 600 Executive Center Drive, 204, CEBLD 25030723. Number 4, 600 Executive Center Drive, 204.
Good morning. My name is Peter Valenti. I'm a construction inspection coordinator, City of West Palm Beach. This code case is CEBLD 25030723. The address where the violation occurred was at 600 Executive Center Drive. It's considered Building 1, Unit 204. So the violation that I observed is Florida Building Code, Building Section 105.1. That's for work without a permit. And it's also in the same building code, Section 110.3, and that is for work being done without inspections. Now, this violation is for flooring. It was flooring that was done. I posted a stop work order on the job site March 3rd, 2025. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on June 9th, 2025, and was posted at City Hall June 11th, 2025. That violation was also posted June 9th. Okay. June 11th, it was signed and returned. So upon my observations, I noticed that the flooring did appear to be different, as there's different type of flooring within, and changed from the, it was clear it was changed from the original flooring. The owner did confirm that during a telephone conversation, that it was changed a few years ago. So the permits, they have been applied for. They're not issued yet, and of course, inspections haven't been performed yet. I have had contact with the owner regarding the violation several times. And the results have been positive, but we haven't been able to result in an obtained permit with the inspections. The city does recommend 30 days to comply and $50 a day after that. I believe that's enough time for this to get resolved.
Thank you, Mr. Valenti. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
Okay, thank you. Do you know when they applied for the permit? Have they been in the process for a while, or is it a recent application?
Yeah, let's see, the permit application, we should have it up there in the system.
Your name, sir?
Hi, good morning. My name is Gina Sweet.
And you're the owner, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you've heard what this city is saying, there was some new flooring put in and you're in the process of getting a permit?
6 years ago, when I purchased the apartment and live into it, I did indeed change the tiles with the approval of the HO and everything. It's a, very small units, only 2 level, and I had no clue that a permit was required. When it came to my attention, I right away pays a fine. There was a $400 fine that I paid. I applied for the permit. By the way, whoever was in charge had us do some changes 7 times. So it was very particular. This
You're
is
talking
what-
about through the permit process?
Yes.
Okay.
7 times. I never, for tiles, you know, it's nothing out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So basically, June 10th, the inspector approved the permit, but we have an issue here. They want to charge, they want me to pay, my invoice is $3,140, and they absolutely adamant that, you know, the fee should be based on $8,000. You know, I was told that they don't care if I have a good deal. We're talking about 99 cents tiles. You know, $3,000 is way
What
more
is the
than enough.
$3,000 for? What fees are those?
So basically, I paid fees based on $3,140, but they want me to pay fees based on $8,000, which is completely insane. It's, you know, and I have the invoice here to show you, you know, the ties themselves are only $594, you know?
Okay.
And they absolutely, and you know, I spoke with 5 different people at the department, you know, and they say, we have these guidelines. You know what that means, you know? I was told in my face, they don't care if I got a good deal. This is totally insane. I understand, you know, the city of West Palm Beach is in the process of gentrification, and you have people who put marble at $2,000 a square foot. But, you know, people who, like myself, is a retired, 66 years old, we don't have to go by these guidelines.
So you're saying that the inspector signed off on your permit on June 10th? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
And all that's outstanding is a fee
I
payment?
have the proof he signed off. The only, you know, thing that is in the air is a valuation.
Okay.
And this is totally, it's appalling that you know, they're pushing towards, you know, fees that doesn't reflect the truth, the reality.
Okay. Let me ask the city for a response to that.
Sure. By the way, the permit was applied for March 27th of this year.
For that.
Yeah, so myself personally, I worked as a plan reviewer here at the city.
Okay.
And did a lot of reviews on the flooring. And the process is that we have to find some way to give an estimate that would be fair for all contractors bidding on a different job. So one of the sources we use is Marshall Swift valuation system. And I agree, it is a very high system, the numbers that they give. However, that's what we go by, but we also give the opportunity to see a breakdown from the contractor on what he feels the price would be.
And have you received that on this, in this case?
It's
Well,
right here.
on the plan review side, they did receive it, they reviewed it, and I know there was some back and forth on that. And ultimately, the plan reviewer said the plan and everything he wants to do is fine, but the value is what was approved. Gene does not agree with that valuation that was approved. So the only thing he can do is he could talk to the plan reviewer, he can talk to the office about trying to get this reassessed, but it's already happened. And as you can see up on the display, we have a breakdown of the price and the value, and he did pay some of it, but there's still $415.95 that still remains. That is the only thing that's preventing him from obtaining the permit, and then we can go through with inspections.
Okay, so the inspections don't occur, so there's additional work aside from payment of whatever the valuation fees are. There hasn't been the inspections, the work hasn't
No.
been signed off on by the city yet?
No, because of
Okay,
the one item
Okay.
paying the fee.
okay. When is the last time, sir, that you spoke with did you speak with the plan reviewer?
Yes, I went to see him personally.
How long ago was that?
You know, I would say like last week,
Okay,
10 days ago max.
okay, so recent.
And I spoke with him. He said, you know, I passed that on to Mrs. Hill, my superior. He approved, but it was into her hands.
Okay.
You know?
So the difficulty is, the only thing that I can do from my chair is my only task. I'm not involved in the review of any of those calculations, any of the valuations. That's not my job as a special magistrate. All that I'm here to do today is to give you adequate time to comply with the city's code. So they're asking me to give you 30 days. I'm going to give you a little bit more than that, but I'm going to encourage you to get in touch with the city staff as quickly as you can after today's hearing, because you're not going to get the permit issued until you get this problem resolved. So
I was hoping of you help because
that is not within my purview. I am just the code enforcement special magistrate. All I can do is evaluate whether or not you have the permit and then give you time to comply.
So who could make the decision?
That you'll need to
Because right
talk
now-
to city staff about that. So if you need to speak with whoever the plan reviewer is, and then go to their supervisor if you didn't speak with them already, but you'll need to,
And they don't care.
well, I'm going to encourage you to talk to them again, because that's not something I can rule on from this seat here today. So all I can do is give you time to get through that process, but I can't make a determination as it relates to value on these things. That's perhaps the building official can be involved. I don't know the city's process, but that is not it's not within my purview. Okay.
Yeah, but it's going in circle.
I understand that, but I'm going to give you time to
I'm
try to get it
honestly-
resolved.
I'm honestly went, Mr. Valenti can tell you, I communicated throughout the whole system, even I was so happy receiving, the approval on June 10th, and I sent him a copy.
But keep in mind, I just want you to hear what he said, that you've gotten approval, but you haven't actually had the work inspected. So once you get the fee issue resolved, you still have to have the work inspected. So
Yeah, absolutely.
you're not done with the process yet. It's not a fee issue that's the only
But
thing
I
that's
was-
standing in the way.
I was really hoping, to at least have a name, because obviously the people I spoke with so far, either way could not or didn't want to resolve this problem, because who in hell can decide that my invoice is not legit? You understand?
I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
This is totally outrageous, and I should not be here in front of you.
I understand that. Well, you're here in front of me because you did work without a permit. So that's all that's within my purview. As I've told you, you need to get in touch with the right people at the city to try to get the valuation issue resolved, okay?
Can I have a name?
I don't work for the city, so I don't know who you need to speak with. You'll need to talk to the city staff about that, and they can direct you to the right place.
I appreciate that. Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Any objection to the documents that you've seen on the screen?
No.
Okay. Anything further from the city?
Yeah, I do have to say that there is evidence of some back and forth with the contractor and the city as far as the valuation, and adjustments have been made back and forth. So it has been gone over and discussed, and this was the last word, that this is the valuation for your project. And of
Okay.
course, the permit fee is based on that valuation, so.
Okay. All right. Anything further from you, sir?
No, I'm really extremely disappointed. I was hoping that, to have some kind of help and resolution, and the direction things are going are really troublesome, that they can decide whatever they want
Well,
for the valuation.
They have a process, and you've submitted the documentation. So their process is what their process is, and you submitted the documentation that you were supposed to submit. But what I'm hearing the city staff tell me is that they've made a decision. So you can make a decision to either pay the fee or not. If you choose not to pay the fee and not to get the permit issued, ultimately a fine is going to start running. So
I understand.
that's a decision for you to make. But again, all that's before me is the code enforcement matter. I'm not involved in the valuation at all.
Like that.
Okay, thank you, sir. With that, in case CEBLD 250300723, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the notice documents in the case file, which include signed or USPS confirmed delivery on the certified mail, as well as an affidavit of posting that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'll find, based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer, or building staff rather, and the photographs in the case file, that the respondent's in violation of sections 105.1 and 110.3 of the building code for work done without the required permits and inspections. I'm going to give you, sir, 45 days to comply with those code sections. If you don't comply within those 45 days, a $50 a day fine will start running on the 46th day, okay?
I comply today.
Okay, very good, sir. Best of luck to you, okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Thank you.
Number 7, 1703 45th Street, CEBLD 25050766. Number 7, 1703 45th Street. Do we have a respondent here for 1703 45th?
Good
Go ahead.
morning.
Good morning,
It's
sir.
Kevin Pennington, Building Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. The code case number is CEBLD 2505076. The address where the violation occurred is 1703 45th Street. The violation I observed through photos provided by the fire department were the expansion of interior assembly space. I issued the violation and posted the stop work order on the property May 5th, 2025. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on June 9th, 2025. It was posted on the property on June 6th, 2025, and it was posted at City Hall on June 11th, 2025. The certified mail was delivered June 11th, 2025, and to support my observations of the violation are removal of a tenant, separation wall, framing, drywall, electrical work. The photos being shown truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violation and reflect what I'm testifying to. Permits and inspections are required for the work I observed and what's displayed in the photos shown. No permits have been applied for. Permits have not been issued. No inspections have been performed. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation and affidavit of posting. I've had contact with the contractor and the tenant and the manager, and they're applying for permits. I believe it went into the system it was applied for on Friday.
Friday, yes.
So just a few days ago. So that the permits have been applied for, and they was going to complete all the inspections. So the city recommends 150 days to comply and a $100 per day fine after that. The time to bring the alleged violations into compliance is a reasonable amount of time. I'm submitting the evidence of the case file, including the documents relied upon.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
Okay, thank you. All right, good morning, gentlemen. Your names for the record?
Mark Foyer, Property Manager for Point Siena Management.
Okay, and your name, sir?
Ramos, Nemaya Ramos,
Okay, and who are you?
the tenant.
You're the tenant. Okay, great. So you've heard what the city is saying. They're telling me that you applied for the permits on Friday?
That's correct.
Okay. And they're giving you quite a bit of time to comply.
Thank you very much.
That seems like more than enough time.
It should be, but we're going through the review process, and there's some question on how long that will take.
Okay, okay. Do you have any objection to the documents that are being shown on the screens?
Seeing the pictures.
They're up there now. We'll have her scroll through them. Any objections, sir, to those documents?
Any objections? No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else you'd like me to hear?
No, we
Okay.
appreciate the time and Kevin's insights.
And just make sure, like you heard me tell the prior respondent, hopefully you've been through the permitting process before, but be aware that the comments come back and forth and it's sort of an iterative process. So make sure you're diligent about getting responses to the comments that the city issues you so that you don't have any issue with the time of compliance, okay?
Thank you.
Okay. Anything further from the city in this case?
Nope.
All right, in case CE BLD 2505-0766, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the notice documents in that case file, which include an affidavit of posting as well as delivery confirmation from USPS that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of the building inspector that the respondent's in violation of sections 105.1 and 110.3 of the Florida Building Code for the renovations done without the required inspections and permits. I'll require a respondent to comply with those code sections within 150 days or a $100 a day fine will be assessed. So like you heard me tell the prior respondent, the fine doesn't start until the 151st day. So make sure you have the permits issued and in your hands by that 150th day, okay?
I understand it's 150 days to have the permit closed.
And the inspection's done,
And
right?
the inspection's complete, so it's
Yep.
more than just, okay,
Yep.
understood.
Perfect. Best of luck to you both, okay? Thank you.
Number 8, 1508 Florida Avenue, CE BLD 25040743. There's no one present for this one, I don't think.
Kevin Pennington, Building Inspector for the City of West Palm Beach. The code case number is CEBLD 25040743. The address where the violation occurred is 1508 Florida Avenue. The violation I observed was interior remodeling, change of footprint, new kitchen, bathrooms. I issued the violation and posted stop work order on the property April 7th, 2025. The notice of violation was mailed via certified mail and regular mail on June 9th. It was posted on the property on June 6th, 2025. It was posted at the City Hall on June 11th, 2025. And the certified mail was delivered June 12th, 2025. To support my observations of the violation are windows, doors, wall framing, flooring, drywall, plumbing, mechanical work, electrical wiring, flooring, and new pool equipment. The photos being shown truthfully and accurately depict the alleged violation and reflect what I'm testifying to. Permits and inspections are required for the work and for what is displayed on the photos shown. Permits have been applied for, permits have not been issued, no inspections have been performed. Included in my file is a copy of the notice of violation and the affidavit of posting. I have had contact with the contractor. He is applying for permits and complete all inspections. City recommends 120 days to comply and a $100 fine per day after that. The time to bring the alleged violations into compliance is a reasonable amount of time. I'm submitting the evidence as a copy of the case file, including documents relied upon.
Thank you, Mr. Pennington. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence.
And when did they apply for the permit?
I don't have the date, but I have a permit number.
Okay.
They already had an existing window and door permit applied for before I cited them for the work, but it wasn't issued. And then they do have a remodeling permit, which is in review.
Okay. But even if they applied yesterday, 120 days is more than enough time for them to comply, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Oh, 5:30, so they've been in the pipeline for a bit. Okay. Okay. All right, anything further from the city?
No.
All right, and for the record, the respondent is not present in case CEBLD 25040743. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the notice documents in the case file, which include an affidavit of posting as well as USPS delivery confirmation on the certified mail, that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file and the testimony of the inspector that the respondent's in violation of sections 105.1 and 110.3 for the renovations done without the required permits and inspections. I'll require a respondent to comply with those code sections within 120 days, or a $100 a day fine will be assessed for each day that the violations continue thereafter.
Number 95405 Prairie Trail, CEBLD 25020709. Number 95405 Prairie Trail.
Good morning. My name is Joe Valdez for the city of West Palm Beach. The code case number is CEBLD 250200709. The address where the violation occurred is 5405 Prairie Trail. The violation I observed was a new structure. Well, first of all, a neighbor complained that there was something going on in the back of the house, and there's a new structure that was had been built, and some new fencing that was being put in the house. I issued the violation and posted it on the job at 2/11/25. The notice of violation was mailed and certified mailed at 6/9/2025. Was posted at City Hall at 6/11/2025. Was posted on the property at 6/7/2025. Certified mail was delivered at 6/9/2025. The observations support each violation that's alleging. The neighbor called and said there was like work going on, some plumbing work, and that he thinks that the place was being rented. And the neighbor said he saw some sewer being attached or installed on the property. And the pictures do depict the structure on the back, and as you can see, some of it on the fencing on the front that's being installed. Permits. The permits for the back was originally applied for in 2016 for a shed to be installed. The permit was never issued, so at this point, they don't have any permits for that, and neither for the fence. It was never applied for or issued. I have had contact with the owner and explained to him what needed to be done to bring this up to, to current codes and all that, and he said he would take care of it, but I never had any further contact with him. So those were the results of our contact. The city recommends 60 days to comply, and after that, $50 per day. And as you can see, I'm submitting all the evidence in the case file, all documents.
Thank you, Mr. Valdez. Do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance?
Well, I mean, the fence permit is a very simple permit to get issued. It just goes through one review, so that would be easy. The other one originally was applied for in 2016, so, I mean, that one might take a little longer. I might be willing to put additional time on that one, but there's going to be two separate permits that are going to have to be applied for on this, so it gets tricky.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including photos and testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
All right, so can you hold on that picture, the next one down? So that's what we're talking about?
Yes.
So that's not a shed, right?
No.
So that's not that doesn't fall under the 2016 permit?
I think it's even got a trash can on the side there.
Right, but that's a new building is what you're saying?
No, I think that was built a while back. Like I said, the original permit was applied for in 2016, so something was in the process of
back then
going to be done.
Okay,
So,
but either way, your records, the city's records there's no permit for that structure?
No.
Okay, so it requires a permit now, regardless of when it was
Yes.
built? Okay, and the fence was the metal fence?
Yes.
Okay. All right, good morning, sir. Your name?
My name is Alfredo Hernandez.
Okay. So you've heard what the city is saying. He indicates that he spoke with you previously, but there's been no additional communication. So where are you with applying for permits?
Yes, I contacted a couple of contractors and they will charge me a lot of money, so I still trying to get contractors that get me the right money that I can afford, but I promise I'm gonna try working this up to get everything to the update.
Okay. What about the fence? Did you install the fence yourself?
That was me and my friend, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That one's going to be easier, but you need to get both of them in process
Okay.
as soon as you can.
Yeah, if you can give me a little more time, so I'm gonna try to do my best. And yeah, I think I spoke to the gentleman when they were putting this, and I have a few family issues, so just couldn't get to the date.
Okay. Do you have any objection to the documents that you've seen on
No.
the screens
No.
being entered into the record? Okay, thank you. What's the city's position relative to the structure? Is 120 days reasonable?
I would give him 120 days on the
Okay,
structure.
that's
The
where
fence-
my head is going, because that's not an easy thing, and if he's got to get a contractor, if it's already
Yeah, it's
done,
already
that's
built.
going to take a little bit. So if you don't have any objection, I think that makes
No.
sense. I think everybody's goal is to get it permitted, so
Of
let's
course.
give
Absolutely.
him enough time to do that. Given that you're going to bifurcate the compliance dates, is the same fine applicable to the structure?
Yes,
Okay.
that's fine.
All right, so sir, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you 60 days on the fence. So you need to start that this week. So
Okay.
get an application. That's like they said, that's an easier permit to get, but you don't wait till the 59th day to apply for it because you won't make the compliance date. Okay, so start that one sooner. I'm going to give you more time on the structure because that's going to be a little bit harder for you to get permitted. Not harder, but it's going to take you more time. So I'll give you that time, but again, start sooner rather than later on both. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Anything else you'd like me to hear?
No.
All right, anything else from the city?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. In case CE BLD 25020709, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the notice documents in the case file, which included an affidavit of posting, that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of the code enforcement officer, or the building official rather, or building inspector, that the respondent's in violation of section 105.1 and 110.3 for the fence installed without the required permits and inspections, and the building constructed in the rear yard without the required permits and inspections. With regard to the fence, I'm going to require a respondent to comply with those code sections by having the required permits issued and inspections completed within 60 days, or a $50 a day fine will be assessed for each day thereafter. With regard to the structure in the rear of the property, I'm going to require that the respondent comply within 120 days. That's the same thing, have the permit issued and all the inspections closed out, done and closed out by those 120 days, or again, a $50 a day fine will be assessed, okay? Best of luck to you, okay, sir?
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Next case number 3, 3800 North Shore Drive, CE 25053515. Number 3, 3800 North Shore Drive.
Good morning, Officer Forrester, West Palm Beach, West Palm Code Appliance. This property was cited on 5/7/25. Certified mail was sent on 6/23/25. Certified mail has not returned. Both the property and city were posted on 6/24/25. I have been in
I'm
contact.
sorry to interrupt you. Could you speak up just the tiniest of bits? I can barely hear you.
Certified mail was sent on 6/23/25.
Thank you. Certified mail was sent 6/23. Go ahead.
Certified mail was not returned. Both the property and city hall were posted on 6/24/25. I have been in contact with the owner, and he's here today. The property was cited for 94-442-E, landscaping of public right-of-way, 94-482A, unpaved parking in the city, which he complied. The city is requesting another 60 days for compliance and $100 a day after the compliance is achieved.
What was that fine amount? I'm sorry?
100.
100, okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for the violations?
Absolutely.
And we're still working on pulling up the photos. Here they are. Did you take these photos yourself?
I did.
And do they accurately depict what you're testifying to today?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
Okay. And you said the parking 94-482A is complied, right?
Yes.
Are you seeking a finding of fact on that, or is it just going away?
It's
They complied by the date you specified in your notice?
correct.
Okay, so it's just falling off. Okay. Your name, sir?
Vilius Gavrilenko.
Okay, so you're the property owner. You've heard what the city is saying. Now it's your turn. Where are you with the landscaping? Are you in process?
Well, actually, that area was used to access irrigation project currently happening.
Okay.
The house is on the TCO, temporary certificate of occupancy. So the work hasn't been completed yet. So one of the requirements to get the CO was to finish irrigation and backflow. So that area was used for staging as far as the truck goes and the trailer. So that's been removed, but that's out of the question. Now for the landscaping, I spoke with the inspector that we put bahia grass seeds in that area currently, just to, for the grass to start to germinate and grow. But the area is kind of shady, so, I mean, literally, if you look up, there's a big oak tree right there, and then, so it's, I don't know if the root's gonna take, I mean, we'll comply to what you guys are asking. I don't know if the grass gonna grow.
Yeah, sometimes a grass seed is hard to get going. You may have to, pivot to sod to get it to
even sod
take.
might not take, because we have put in sod, and then in some shady areas of the house, it did not stick. Root didn't grow.
Are you done with all the irrigation and everything that you were using to stage, or that's all done now?
Negative, no. For the irrigation, we're done. However, there's a backflow device that still needs to be inspected.
But it's already installed?
It's installed, correct.
Okay. So nothing else that you're going to tear up the grass
Hopefully
to
not.
do?
If the inspector likes everything that they see, they.
Okay.
And this backward process was due to the city missing irrigation not being there on the initial review. It was a brand new build, and we submitted everything, and irrigation wasn't there to begin with because we just we didn't think we needed it, and the city issued all the permits to build a new house without irrigation. And after they were reviewing everything before the CO, somebody said, we missed that part. And
Okay.
they said it was city's fault, but I still needed to comply with that.
Okay, so they're asking me to give you 60 days. Do you think you can get the landscaping completed in 60 days?
The seed takes, what, 30 days to germinate and maybe 4 weeks to grow, I guess. I mean,
Well, that is not a legal question. That's above my pay grade.
so I did comply already with what the process is, meaning like I put the seed in. So
Did you put it everywhere? I mean,
in that area, yeah.
Okay.
So now I spoke with inspector. We're gonna maybe do some sort of sign, not to drive there, not to park. As
Right, to let it
inspectors
start.
come in
Okay.
and then they park in that area. They use that area to park.
And can you show me, code officer, on the pictures? Is it the entire front yard, or is it just a
No,
certain
it's,
area?
it's just where the tree.
Just under the tree
yeah,
there?
right on the other side of the sidewalk.
So all behind that hedge is fully grassed and everything's fine?
Right. If you look, if you scroll up a little, or I mean, right, yeah, right, yeah, like to the right of that sign, there's a grass where there's no shade, and then behind the driveway, there's also grass. But in that, right here where the tree is, it's not that that great.
Well, you may want to, I would definitely encourage you to rope it off or put up those little kind of reflective things if the
right.
city will allow that to keep people from driving on it, because that will not take if that happens.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm going to give you a little bit more time than they're asking me. Do you have any objection to the documents that are on the screen?
No.
Okay.
No objection.
Anything else you'd like me to hear?
No.
Okay. Anything further from the city?
Nope.
All right, in case CE 2505-3515, I will enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the notice documents in the case file, which include an affidavit of posting that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file and the testimony of the code enforcement officer that the respondent's in violation of section 94-442E. I'm going to require you to comply with that section within 90 days. So I'm going to give you another month over and above what they've asked since you've planted and you're starting to get toward compliance. I will tell you that if the seed doesn't appear to take, you may want to get sod and just put sod down to solve your code enforcement problem. If you don't comply within those 90 days, a $100 a day fine will start running on that 91st day. So keep in touch with the city if there's any issues that they need to be aware of, okay?
We'll go.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Number 10, 920 37th Street, CE 25043477. Number 10, 920 37th Street.
Are you here for 920 37th Street?
She's not.
She's not?
She's here for a different case.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone's here or not. Do you have someone on the list?
Lubin Smith.
920 37th Street. Good morning. Code Officer K.T. Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach. While checking a complaint in the area, I observed several violations at 920 37th Street. I took photos of the property which accurately and truthfully depict the violations observed. I initiated my investigation on April the 28th of 2025, citing the following violations. 18103B, conditions of structure, 22-32-A, certificate of use, 94-485-E, surfacing of parking, 94-442-C-1, landscaped areas must be grass, 94-442-E, landscaping of the swell parkways, 18-103-J, condition of the structures, paint and touching up paint, 22-441, no rental license, 94-71-C, outdoor storage, 94-482-A, parking requirements, unpaved parking, 18-106-A, clean and sanitary, including pressure washing, 18-103-E, the condition of structures, window repair, 78-94-C, swells parkway area, and 94-446-2-A edging. The notice of violation was posted on the property and City Hall on June the 16th of 2025. The affidavit of posting was completed on June the 16th of 2025, and a copy was placed in the case file. Certified and regular mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on April the 29th of 2025. The certified mail was returned. I revisited the property on July the 1st of 2025 and observed the property still in violation of all the violations cited. Reinspection photos were taken showing the remaining violations. They were uploaded to the case file. I have spoken with the property owner, Mr. Lubin Smith, who asked if his brother, Mr. Isaac, could represent him at the hearing. He did submit an email which was attached to the case as well. The city is requesting an additional 60 days to gain compliance, or $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. And do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for the outstanding violations?
Yes, if they want to address it, yes.
Understood. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
Thank you. 2 questions on the code sections. Was there, I thought in the list of code sections you read, was there one near the end that started with a 78?
7894-C, the Swells Parkway. Is that the one that you're?
Yeah, that I don't see on the agenda, so I wanted to make sure. Is that still outstanding?
Yes. I don't know why it's not on there.
What was it?
It's 78-94-C. So that one, even if not, if you don't see it, there's also the 94-442-E, that also the landscaping of the Swelling
Okay, so
Parkway.
that captures that violation. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure whatever my order is reflects all the code sections. So what's, on the certificate of use, what's the allegation there? Is this a rental?
No rental license, yes, ma'am. It's
Okay.
being rented, and there is no rental license at all.
And did you talk to a tenant, or is there a sign out that
Yes,
says it's for
I
rent?
have spoken with the tenant, and the last time there has been any sort of license issue was, the last license was closed in 2008 under a different owner, but ever since this particular owner has owned the property, there's no rental license on file.
Okay. All right. And can I just see, I think I missed the posting affidavit. Could I see that? Thank you. All right, your name, sir?
Isaac Romulus.
And you're the agent, your
Yes,
brother?
it is
Okay.
my brother, yes.
You've seen the documents that are scrolling on the screens on both sides of me. Do you have any objection to those documents?
No objection.
Okay. So you've heard what this city is saying. She's telling me that she initially started this case back at the end of April, and she went back out there yesterday, and nothing has complied. So are you trying to get toward compliance? Are you starting to work on things?
So I'm going to stop by today because I live in Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
And my brother is in New York, and I think some negligence has been made at the house for the tenant. So I would like to see if the city can give us a little bit more time. And I really don't know exactly everything supposed to be done until I stop by to look at the property.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you heard her read a list of a lot of violations, and the photographs on the screen show quite a bit going on the property.
Yes.
So you don't have nobody's local, is that the problem? You have a tenant there, but no property management or no maintenance?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay. Okay. And code officer, none of these are life safety, right? Health, safety, welfare, these are just standard?
Pretty much, yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. And you understand you have to apply and get a certificate of use for the rental? You have to start a paperwork process there?
But it seemed like he only gave them the place to stay, and they pay the mortgage. The money the tenant gave him is enough only to pay the mortgage. It's not no profit, no benefit on that on those people who's living there. So I think the only thing we have to do now is moving those people out and fix the property and start the business with it, to rent it.
Okay. All right, anything else you'd like me to hear?
No.
Okay. I'm going to give you a little bit more time than the city is asking me. It concerns me that this process started several months ago and you've made no progress. So I'm going to give you a couple of weeks beyond what they're asking me to give you, but you need to start making progress. When you get a code enforcement violation, you need to take it seriously. And you may want to consider, I don't know, I guess the notices are they're going to this property, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so if you don't live at this property, you may want to change, and you're the one who's responsible for this property, you may want to change where the city is sending their notices to. So the city's required by law to send to the address on the tax collector or the property appraiser's website, which is the actual address of the property based on the PAPA that was up on the screen. So if that's not where you want certified mail to be sent, if you want it to be sent to you or to your brother, wherever you live, you may want to consider changing that, because when you get these notices, if they're going to the place where the tenant lives and you're not finding out about it until months later, that's creating a problem that you're going to be responsible for, okay?
Yeah, from now on, I'm going to talk to my brother to make sure it's not only me to come in for the hearing. If you want me to get responsibility of the house, we have to...
You got another conversation to have there.
Yes.
I hear you.
Yeah.
All right, anything further from the city?
No, ma'am.
All right. Anything further from you, sir?
No, thank you.
Okay. In case CE 2504-3477, I'm going to enter the city's evidentiary case files composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'm going to find, based on the notice documents in the case file, which included an affidavit of posting, that the city had good service for this morning's hearing. I'm going to find, based on the testimony of the code enforcement officer as well as the photographs in the case file, that the respondent's in violation of sections 18103B, 2232A, 94485E, 94442C1, 94442E, 18103J, 22441, 9471C, 94482A, 18106A, 18103E, and 944462E. And I'm going to require you to comply with those code sections within 75 days. So you need to get everything done within 75 days, okay? If you don't get it done, a $100 per day fine will start running on the 76th day. So that should be more than enough time, but I would encourage you, specifically on the certificate of use, to get that application in soon, okay?
Okay.
Best of luck to you, sir.
Can I please have a copy of this, please?
You'll get a copy of the order in the mail, okay? And it'll go again to the same address that they're required to send stuff to, so it's going to go to that house.
Oh.
So the code enforcement officer may be willing to get your email address and get you a copy of that. Make sure she has your information, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Number 113719 Windsor Avenue, CE 25043484. Number 113719 Windsor Avenue.
Good morning. Code Officer KT Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach. While patrolling in the area, I observed several violations at 3719 Windsor Avenue. I took photos of the property which accurately and truthfully depict the violations observed. I initiated my investigation on April the 29th of 2025, citing the following violations. 18106-M, maintaining a landscape which has been complied. 94-442-C-1, landscape areas must be grass, which has been complied. 78-94-C, swells and parkways, which has been complied. 94-302-A-3, fence permit. And FBC 110.1, subject to inspection. The notice of violation was posted on the property and City Hall on June the 16th of 2025. The affidavit of posting was completed on June the 16th of 2025, and a copy was placed in the case file. Certified and regular mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on May the 5th of 2025. The certified mail was signed for. I revisited the property on July the 1st of 2025 and observed the property still in violation of the 94-302-A-3 and FBC 110.1. Reinspection photos were taken showing the remaining violations. They were uploaded to the case file. I have spoken with one of the property owners, Ms. Portia, who stated that the permit was applied for. And in the system, it has been applied for, and it's just waiting review, which is scheduled for July, I think it's the 14th or in that week.
Okay.
So the city is asking for an additional 30 days to gain compliance, so $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. And do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony into evidence, barring any objection.
And that review date of 7/14 or the week of 7/14, that's the date that the city will review?
The review planner. And the thing is too, with this, it's a fence permit, but it was put in by a company. Why they didn't pull a permit beforehand, I don't know.
That's the million-dollar question, Ms. Weaver.
Exactly, but they did have all what they needed to submit according to Ms. Portia. They got, everything signed out, FPNL and all those. So it's just a matter of them reviewing it, and then they shouldn't have any issues.
So you don't see any reason why 30 days is not sufficient time?
Right.
Okay. All right, your name, sir?
Johnson Jean-Pierre.
Okay. So you've heard what the city is saying. It looks like you have a permit that's in process. Anything else you'd like me to hear?
Yes. Well, the company was Budget Fence Company. They were supposed to put in the permit. The guy said he was going to put a permit, then he did the fence. I guess he did the fence, put the permit. So we're on an assumption that he did apply for the permit. When my wife called back about a month later, she said, yeah, we did apply for the permit. And then when we got the violation, we called back, and then they said, oh, no, we didn't send the permit in. So we don't know what happened there.
Okay. So, but did you get the same company to apply for the permit, or did you do it yourself?
We called them back. My wife called back, send the paperwork in again.
Okay.
And they
So they're
applied, last week it was? I
The
think
25th.
The 25th, they applied. So they said we had to get the wrong info from them.
Okay. They're asking me to give you 30 days. I'm going to give you 45 just to make sure. Make sure, just because number one, lesson learned, when the contractor tells you that they're going to get a permit, always as a property owner, make sure that you verify that that's happened, because that is very, very common for contractors to say, don't worry about it. And you even pay them to get the permit, and then they don't get the permit. So lesson learned going forward, when you have work done, you should make sure that they actually did that. Same thing on the process now. If they're in process, make sure that they don't, once the city completes its review, which she's indicated is going to be in a week or so, make sure that if there are comments that go back to your contractor, that he addresses them quickly. Because what happens is, when you get comments, if your contractor doesn't see the comments or doesn't address them, it just kind of sits and doesn't move forward.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you 45 days just to make sure, since you're on top of it now, but just make sure that you confirm that the permit's been issued within 45 days, okay? Because otherwise you're going to get tagged with the fine, and they'll put a lien on your house, and that'll ultimately be your problem.
Right.
So any objection to the documents that are on the screen being entered into the record?
No.
Okay. Anything else, sir?
No.
All right, anything else from the city?
No, ma'am.
All right, and no findings of fact on the complied sections, is that correct?
No, ma'am. They have, from the beginning of getting the notice and everything, they have been working diligently
Very
and
good.
doing things, have no issues with them.
Okay, great. All right, in case CE 2504-3484, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1. I'll find, based on the notice documents in the case file, which include an affidavit of posting as well as a signed certified mail, that the city had good service for this morning's hearing. I'll find, based on the photographs in the case file and the testimony of the code enforcement officer, that the respondent's in violation of sections 94302A3 and 110.1 of the Florida Building Code for the work that was done, the fence that was done without the required permits and inspections. I'll require a respondent to comply within 45 days, or a $100 a day fine will be assessed for each day that the violation continues. Best of luck to you, sir, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 12, 4003 Windsor Avenue, CE 2504-3486. Number 12, 4003 Windsor Avenue.
Good morning. With this case, we're going to have a translator, so I'm going to try to speak slower. Code Officer KT Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach.
So let me get their appearances first, if we're
Yes.
going to do it that way.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and city staff is going to translate? Okay. So what is your name, sir?
I'm Victor Rodriguez. I
Okay.
wasn't here at the beginning, so I need to be sworn in.
Very good. Raise your right hand for me. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And can you ask her what her name is?
¿Cuál es tu nombre?
Antonia de Lugo.
Okay. Just explain to her that the code enforcement officer is going to speak, and then you're going to translate to her, and so we get everything
Ella
in.
dice que ella va a hablar y yo te voy a traducir todo lo que ella dice, ¿ok?
Perfect.
Okay.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Ms. Weaver. Thank you.
Code Officer KT Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach. While patrolling the area, I observed several violations at 4003 Windsor Avenue.
Bueno, buenos días. Mi nombre es KT Weaver, oficial de Code Enforcement de la ciudad de West Palm Beach. Cuando estaba patrullando el área, observé muchas violaciones en la casa 4003 Windsor Avenue.
I took photos of the property which accurately and truthfully depict the violations observed.
Tomó fotos de la propiedad con precisión y veracidad que representan las violaciones observadas.
I initiated my investigation on April the 29th of 2025, citing the following violations.
Inició su investigación el 29 de abril del 2025, citando las siguientes violaciones:
74-94-C, swells and parkways.
78-94-C, el Swells and Parkways, lo que está al lado de la casa.
94-442-E, landscaping of the swell and parkway.
94-442-E, el landscaping de los suelos y los parkways al lado de la casa también.
And 94-71-C, outdoor storage.
94-71-C, outdoor storage, son las cosas que están afuera.
The notice of violation was posted on the property in City Hall on June the 16th of 2025.
La noticia de violación fue posteada en su propiedad y en City Hall el junio 16 del 2025.
The affidavit of posting was completed on June the 16th of 2025, and a copy was placed in the case file.
La declaración jurada fue completada el 16 de junio del 2025 y una copia fue puesta en el file, en su file.
Certified and regular mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on May the 5th of 2025, and the certified mail was signed for.
El correo regular y certificado fue enviado a su casa con la dirección que está puesta en el Property Appraiser en mayo 5 del 2025 y el correo fue firmado por usted o por alguien. No?
No.
She said nobody signed that.
That's what's in the system.
Show her,
sir.
have her look at the screen there.
There
There's
you
the
go.
signature.
Ahí está una firma, mira. Alguien lo firmó.
No es mi firma.
That's not her sign, she's saying.
Okay. Well, tell her we'll talk about that when
Hablamos
she's
de eso.
finished.
I revisited the property on July the 1st of 2025 and observed the property still in violation of the 7894C, 94-442E, and 94-71C.
Ella visitó la propiedad el 1 de julio del 2025 y observó que la propiedad todavía está en violación por las siguientes 78-94C, 94-44E y 94-71-C.
Reinspection photos were taken showing the remaining violations. They were uploaded to the case file. I have spoken with the property owner and explained what needs to be done to comply the property.
Ella fue a hacer una reinspección, tomó fotos enseñando que todavía las violaciones están ahí, las subió al caso suyo y ha estado en contacto con usted y le ha explicado lo que tiene que hacer en la propiedad.
The city is requesting an additional 30 days to gain compliance, or $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
La ciudad está pidiendo 30 días para que usted pueda arreglar todo y si no lo arregla en 30 días van a ser $100 de multa diaria.
Thank you, Ms. Weaver. And do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance with the outstanding violations?
Yes, sir.
Thank you so
Él le
much.
dijo que si ella cree que 30 días es suficiente para que usted...
Sí.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
Ahora él le pasa todo a ella para que ella decida.
All right, so let's start with the easy part. Can you ask her if she has any objection to the documents that are on the screen? I know she's saying that she didn't sign for the certified mail.
¿Tienes alguna objeción con las fotos que están ahí puestas?
No, están correctas. Solo que hizo un pequeño cambio, puse la grama, solo necesito cambiar los árboles, quitar los árboles.
No, she said everything is correct, but she already compliant part of it. She just got to remove the plants. She already planted some grass in it. So
Okay.
she's working on it.
She's working on it. So no objection to the documents?
No.
Okay. And I guess have her confirm that she understands what she needs to do to comply with the remaining violations.
¿Entiende todo lo que tiene que hacer para que se componga todo?
Sí.
Okay. And does she think that she can get them done in 30 days?
¿Cree que lo pueda terminar en 30 días?
Today, right now.
She's going to do it today.
Today. That's even better.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else that she would like me to hear?
¿Algo más que quiera decirle a ella?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything further from the city?
No, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to make my ruling now. I'll kind of pause and let you translate what I'm saying to her. In case CE 2504-3486, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection.
Que deben meter el caso sin ninguna objeción.
Sí.
I'll find based on the documents in the case file, which include an affidavit of posting and signed certified mail,
Incluir todos los documentos que dio, incluyendo el correo certificado y todo.
Sí, ese correo
that the
no
city
se
had
quiere.
good service for today's hearing,
What was that? I'm sorry.
that the city had good service for today's hearing,
¿La ciudad tuvo buen servicio con usted hoy?
Sí, claro.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to find, based on the photographs in the case file, that the respondent's in violation of Section 7894C, 94442E, and 9471C.
Ok, ella va a aclarar todo, lo va a meter al sistema y va a quedar todo listo.
And I'm going to require a respondent to comply with those sections within 30 days, or a $100 per day fine will be assessed.
Asegúrate que lo hagas en 30 días, si no son $100 diario.
So make sure she understands that she needs to get everything complied and then call code enforcement officer so that she can come do an inspection and get her complied out within the 30 days.
Okay. Entonces, ¿estás segura que entiendes todo y que cuando lo termine la llamas a ella para que ella vaya a hacer una inspección?
Sure.
And let her know that she'll get a copy of the order that reflects all of that in the mail.
Te va a llevar una copia en el correo de todo lo que pasó hoy acá.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank
day.
you, sir, for translating.
Thank you.
That's all I show for contested matters. Okay, number 2301 Avila Road, CE 25053494.
Good morning, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement, on behalf of Officer McFarland, for case address CE 25053494, case address 301 Avila Road. They originally cited for 18-106-K landscape maintenance, 18-265B for boarding certificate needed, 94-442-C-1 landscape areas needing sod throughout the yard, 74-4-C-4 trees or hedges that were obstructing the city's right-of-way, and 78-94-C swells and parkways needing sod as well. To date, all violations are still outstanding with the exception of 74-4-C-4. The trees and hedges obstructing the right-of-way have been complied
Okay,
per
thank
the
you.
officer's testimony. The citation was originally issued May 1st, 2025. Regular and certified mail were sent out May 5th of 2025. That was received. City Hall, as well as the property, was posted June 4th of 2025, and an affidavit of posting was prepared and placed in the case file. To date, the officer has had no contact with the owner, so the city requests 60 days to bring the property into compliance, or a $100 a day fine thereafter.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence.
Okay. And the 74-4C4, is that a finding of fact, or is that just falling off?
No, ma'am, it's just falling off.
Okay. Okay, there's the boarded windows. Is there a posting affidavit in there?
Right there. Mhm.
Okay, perfect. All right, and the respondent's not present in this case?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anything further from the city?
No, ma'am.
All right, in case CE 2505-3494, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the notice documents in the case file, which include an affidavit of posting as well as the signed certified mail, that the city had good service for this morning's hearing. I'll find, based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of the code enforcement officer, that the respondent's in violation of sections 18106K, 94442C1, 7894C, and 18265B. I'll require a respondent to comply with those sections within 60 days, or a $100 per day fine will be assessed for each day thereafter.
Okay, thank you.
Number 5, 824 36th Street, CE 25053520, number 5.
Mr. Lattimore, were you here for the swearing in?
Yes, I was.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hey, good morning, Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on routine patrol, I observed missing grass and outdoor storage at 824 36th Street. This property is occupied. I initiated my investigation on May 1st of 2025 and observed the following violations. 94-442-C-1, the landscape is missing grass. 94-71-C, outdoor storage, the pipes that are laying, pipes and wood laying around the property. 18106K, landscape maintenance, the left side of the landscape front edge just needed to have some seeds or something laid down. The grass is thinning and dying in that area. And 94442E, to side the parkway. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. That notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on May 8th, 2025 by the city's clerk, and I posted a notice of violation at the property and City Hall on May 9th of 2025. I also completed an affidavit of posting on May 9th, 2025, and it is in the case file. I revisit the property on June 26, 2025, and observed the property not to be in compliance with the following code sections: 94-442-C-1, the landscape is still missing grass, and 94-71-C, the outdoor storage has been moved, but it's still out in view for the public. I took the photographs at the initial investigation and when I revisited the property. The photographs show that the violation still exists on the property, and these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, and I have not made contact with the property owner or a representative for this property. With that being said, for the code violations 94-442-C1 and 94-71-C, the city is requesting an additional 30 days to comply. If no compliance, a $50 per day fine.
Thank you, sir. And do you believe that's a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance?
I do. If they're going to put down grass, that is a reasonable time. Special Magistrate, from my observation from previous cases, it appears that these individuals that live there at the home, they park on that paved area there. They're using it as a driveway. So with that being said, another way to comply this case is for them to go through the permit process to expand their driveway out, which if they take that route would take a little bit of time. But the quickest way to comply this case would be to put down sod, and they can complete that within the 30-day period.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence.
And so I heard you say 30 days on 94-442-C1 and 94-71-C, but what about the other sections?
They have been complied. If
All
you
the rest
look,
of them are complied?
Yes, sod is in the parkway, and the front landscape has been sodded as well. So I think they put down sod, the seeds, and it grew in pretty well.
Okay. Sorry, I missed that when you originally said that.
Not a problem. And I only wanted to point out the driveway because that they can extend that out, which is also a way to comply. I wish they would have gotten in contact with me so I can have a better understanding of how to help them comply the case. But the driveway also need to be repaired. Granted, I did not cite for that, but if they're going to repair that, then it's easy to get a permit to expand it over. Nevertheless, sod in 30 days can comply this case.
Okay. All right, for the record, the respondent is not present in case CE 2505-3520. Anything further from the city?
Nothing, Father.
All right, I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as composite exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find based on the notice documents in the case file, which included an affidavit of posting as well as a signed certified mail, that the city had good service for this morning's hearing. I'll find based on the photographs in the case file as well as the testimony of the code enforcement officer that the respondents are in violation of sections 94-442-C1 and 94-71-C, and I'll require respondents to comply with those sections within 30 days, or a $50 per day fine will be assessed for each day that the violation continues thereafter.
And lastly, number 6, 1119 35th Street, CE 25053525.
All right, good morning again. Donald Lattimore, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. While on routine patrol, I observed tree branches and limbs touching the structure roof at 119 35th Street. This property is occupied. I initiated my investigation on May 6th of 2025 and observed the following violations: 744C1, to trim the hazardous trees that are touching the structure; 54262, to remove clothing that is hanging on the rear fence; 94302A4, to repair the fence; 94485A, to cease vehicle repair in the residential district; and 9471C, to remove the outdoor storage, primarily that's behind the fence for the property, since the fence was broken. The city issued a notice of violation to the property owner, which identified the violations, my contact information, and notice of this hearing date. That notice of violation was noticed by certified and regular mail on May 8th, 2025 by the city's clerk, and I posted a notice of violation at the property in City Hall on May 14th of 2025. I also completed an affidavit of posting on May 14th, 2025. I revisited the property on June 26th of 2025 and observed the property not to be in compliance with the following code sections. 744C1 to trim the hazardous tree that has now grown even more, and 54262 to remove the clothing that's hanging on the rear fence. I took the photographs at the initial investigation, and when I revisited the property, the photographs show that the violations still exist on the property, and these photographs accurately and truthfully depict the violations I observed during my investigation. The property owner is not present, but I did make contact with the property owner while posting the notice of violation. During that interaction, I explained the violations, how to comply them. The owner did express financial hardship towards trimming the trees and the branches away from the structure. So I inquired about additional time needed. The owner expressed that he will get to it when he can. No exact time was provided. So please note that this property is also already running fines for previous violations, which includes the repair of the roof and the rear exterior cleaning. So this property owner is a part of our elderly community members, and they are facing some financial hardship, which I did tell them that I would go on the record to say that they're trying the best that they can to comply. So what I also did was I spoke with my supervisor to see if there's any way that the city can assist as well. And based off of what's being told to me, since someone is currently living in the property, we cannot abate to have the trees remove the cut. That can cause an issue since someone is living there. So unfortunately, the best thing that we can do right now is to ask for additional time. So with that being said, for code violation sections 744C1 and 54262, the city is requesting an additional 60 days to comply, and if no compliance, a daily fine of $50 per day.
Thank you, sir. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony, into evidence.
Okay, thank you. And they complied with the other 3 sections?
Yes, Special Magistrate.
I figured out why I missed it on the first one, but that's clear. Thank you. All right. And 60 days is a reasonable amount of time. I understand the financial component, but on the hurricane hazard, it's actually in their best interest to get it dealt with, because it's going to damage their house if, especially given the time of year we're in now. So.
Correct, and I tried my hardest to catch them in the neighborhood and throughout my area when they were smaller, so easier to maintain and cut back. As you can see in the initial photos, the branches were really small, and in that short period of time, they have grown so much over covering the house. So it's a bigger project now than what it was before.
And they're high up too, yeah,
Yes.
which makes it more difficult. All right, anything further from the city?
Nothing further.
All right, for the record, in case CE 2505-3525, the respondent is not present. I'll enter the city's evidentiary case file as Composite Exhibit 1 without objection. I'll find, based on the notice documents in the case file, which include an affidavit of posting, that the city had good service for today's hearing. I'll find, based on the photographs in the case file, as well as the testimony of the code enforcement officer, that the respondent's in violation of sections 74-4C1 and 54-262. I'll require respondents to comply with those code sections within 60 days, or a $50 per day fine will be assessed for each day that the violations continue thereafter. And that appears to be it for this portion. The other matters are 11:30? Is that correct? Okay, so I'll adjourn this portion at 10:35. Do you need to give the TV people notice, or they're still going? Okay, they're good. Very good, thank you. All right, with that, I'm going to call back to order the City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. This is the Other Matters section of the agenda. It's 11:31, so we can begin. My name is Amity Barnard. I'm the Special Magistrate for this portion of the hearing. The first thing I'm going to do is swear anyone in who's here to testify on any items on today's agenda, including city staff. So if you're here for one of the code enforcement matters, if you could stand if you're able and raise your right hands for me. You can sit, ma'am, if that's easier. Do you all swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, thank you very much. So just a little bit about process. These hearings are reversed from the prior hearings in that it's your burden to prove to me why the fine should be reduced in these cases. So when you hear your case called, come to the podium that's down on my right. City staff is already standing at the podium to my left. The city will present a bit of brief testimony at the beginning of the case, and then it'll be your opportunity to speak to me about why the fine should be reduced. So with that understanding, keep in mind that all of your testimony is given under oath. So with that, I'll turn it to the city to call its first case.
914 10th Street. Case number CE 17020401.
Good morning, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Agenda item number 13, case number CE 17020401, case address of 914 10th Street. This case was originally cited February 17th of 2017. They were cited for exterior repairs needed, stairs and back porch repairs needed, paint needed on the exterior of the structure, external doors and windows also needing repair, and a boarding certificate that was needed for the structure. This went to a special magistrate hearing April 19th of 2017. It was ordered for the fine to start as of June 19th, 2017, and that ran for 2,138 days at $100 a day for a total of $213,800, and this was complied April 27th of 2023. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting and regular mail. This was done under the same owner, Magistrate, who's here before us today. We do have an agreement beforehand, Magistrate, to reduce the lien to $10,690 payable within 60 days.
All right, your names for the record?
Wilton Munnings.
And your name, ma'am?
Elizabeth Munnings.
Okay. So you've heard what the code enforcement staff has said. They've indicated to me that you have an agreement with the city on a reduced amount. Is that correct, that you're in agreement to reduce the amount to $10,690 payable within 60 days?
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like me to hear?
No.
All right, that's pretty easy then. Anything else from the city?
No, ma'am.
All right, with that, in case CE 17020401, I will grant the reduction. I'll reduce the previous lien amount from $213,800 down to $10,690 payable within 60 days. Just note that if you don't pay that amount within the 60 days or by the 60th day, the fine goes back to the original amount. So make sure you get it paid so that you're not in any reversion problems, okay?
Yes.
All right. And I think she has a copy of the order that you can take with you as you leave. Thank you both.
And we can take this right across the hall?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Yes, you can take it right across the hall to the cashier's window.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Same to you.
One zero 1029 Allendale Road, case number CE 23030390.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Agenda item number 14, case number CE 23030390. Case address of 1029 Allendale Road. This case was originally cited March 6th of 2023. They were cited for illegal structure, conversion, or built in the backyard without permits or inspections. This case went to a special magistrate hearing January 17th of 2024. It was ordered for the fine to start as of April 17th, 2024. That ran for 99 days at $100 a day for a total of $9,900 and was complied July 25th of 2024. Service in this case was also achieved by way of posting and regular mail. This was done under the same owner who's here before us today and has applied for the lien reduction magistrate. So the city requests a reduction to 25% of that lien, which will be a total of $2,475.
All right, thank you. Your name, sir?
My name is James Abelom.
And you are not the homeowner, are you?
Yes, I am the owner.
Okay, you're also listed on here. Okay. Okay, so you've heard what the city is saying. They're not objecting to reduction, but explain to me why the fine should be reduced.
You know, right now things kind of tough for me. I got 4 kids. So, you know, it's kind of hardship I'm going through right now. If you guys could reduce the fine for me, that would be great, and I really appreciate it.
Are you trying to sell the house?
No, I got 4 kids, 4 girls, so there's no way I can sell that house.
Okay.
So we'll be homeless if we sell the house. So it just things tough for me right now because my wife taking care of the kids. I'm the only one who's really working right now.
Okay. Why are you trying to get the lien reduced? Are you refinancing, or are you doing something with the bank that's requiring this?
If I could refinance, I have to get me a second job. No, things is really tough right now. All jobs slow, but because things really hard for me. That's why, you know, if you guys can remove it for me, that'd be great. The mortgage really high right now every month. It's like include everything's like almost $4,000 a month. So things really hard.
And what's the 103.1 that says public health, safety, welfare? Was this a
Which
that a
one
health,
was that,
safety,
Magistrate?
welfare
I'm sorry.
violation?
Which one are you asking about?
The first violation section says public health, safety, and general welfare. Was this a health, safety, welfare case, or was it just a building permit case?
No, these were just building permits, just
Okay.
work that was done without the permits and inspections.
How many code enforcement cases against this property?
Under his ownership, just one that I was able to find.
Just one. Do you have what the permit was for that didn't get pulled?
Just for the structure that was built in the backyard. It says, it doesn't detail what type of structure it was.
Okay, but that's a pretty serious violation to build a
It just
structure
says,
without a permit.
building and plumbing work performed.
Okay. So the city is recommending that I reduce the lien from $9,900 down to $2,475. What's your response to that?
For how long that would be to be
Sorry?
paid off? For how long that will be to pay it off?
I can give you a year to pay it.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you'd like me to hear?
That would be it. Thank you so much for helping me.
In case CE 2303039, I'm going to, given the facts that the code officer just testified to, given the gravity of the violation and the fact that there was only one other case under this owner, I'm going to reduce the lien amount down from $9,900 to $2,475 payable within 1 year. So just like you heard me tell the other people, you need to pay it by that time or it'll go back to the original amount. So make sure you come up with that money within the year and get it paid off so that it goes away, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
And she'll give you an order right there. And that appears to be it, correct?
Yeah, that is
All right, with that, I will adjourn at 11:40.